everyone. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Veganish with Dr. Monique. I am your host, Dr. Monique. I am so glad to be back with the people tonight. I am coming to you though from a different location. It looks a little different in my backgrounds because I am not at home. I am I'm doing a spa weekend with my girls, and we are in Carefree, Arizona. So I am taking some time for myself. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But how are you doing tonight, Mr. Ellis?
I am great. I am just really excited. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, man.
Oh,
I
I
was at FAMU homecoming last week. Shout out to all my rattlers out there that might be watching. So,
know.
yes, we had a fantastic time.
It was homecoming season. I was traveling, life, that thing called life, right? Which is why I'm so happy to be where I am. So as I mentioned, I am, and we're going to get to welcome everybody in a minute, but I just wanted to say I am here with my two of my best girls, my home girls. They hold me down, and we're doing just a spa weekend. We one of them was talking about bringing her work computer, and I sent her a gift where you throw the computer in the garbage. No work computer. But times like this are so important. We are constantly running, giving, pouring into others. It's so important that we take time to pour into ourselves. So we're being selfish. One friend left her kids at home. Myself and my other friend, we have either one in college or one that's an adult. But we are doing us this weekend, and it's going to be great. We just got here today. I've already had a lovely massage. I'm super relaxed. So I was about to doze off. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't get too comfortable. I got to go to the show. But we want to welcome her. So what all of that to say, please take time. This busy holiday season about to ramp up. It's about to get real. Please take time to recharge, to turn off the phone, the TV, the whatever, and meditate, relax, whatever you need to do to pour into yourself so you can get through this season. It goes fast.
Yes.
But at the same time, and that makes it even more draining, right? So please take some time. So you all know what time it is because y'all are already dropping in. It's time to rep your city. Let us know where you are watching us from. I used to rep your city, your state, your country, your continent. I see Cali in the house. I see Chicago's soft suburbs.
South, yeah. Meant to you, but yeah, I know about South Side, Chicago.
Okay, got it. Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to tag a friend. Tell them to come on in this house. We got some good stuff for you all tonight. We're going to kick it off with a little bit. I got some nutrition in the news. I came across something. I was like, it blew my mind. I was like, I have to share this with them. Before we get to the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of the show, which are some we're gonna talk about some foods to kind of avoid or substitute this holiday season. But before we get into that, I see Texas is coming in. Oh my goodness, I'm not too far. I mean, this is like pretty far west. A quick funny story. I have those air tags, and I usually put one in my luggage. Well, I forgot to put one in my luggage this time. And I pulled it up on my phone, and it said, it is 1,789 miles away from you. So that's how far away from home I am. So, yes, y'all come on in, get comfortable. Please, like I said, tag someone, Sherry is carrying, tell them to come on in. This is going to be the fastest 30 minutes. So, yes, Southside is coming in. Jacksonville, Florida. Okay.
Hometown represent. That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. We know we like to engage. We like for you all to participate. So I came across a study about kitchen item contamination, right? And so the title of this article, and this is very timely for this time of year, this kitchen item may pose a surprising contamination risk. So drop in the chat, what do you all think it is? What kitchen item, thank you so much, Ramel, for sharing. What kitchen item was a surprising contamination risk? And so when I saw this, I was like, well, dish towels, sponges, cutting boards, maybe.
Usual suspects.
Usual suspects.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the surprise? So while you guys are thinking, I'm gonna set up the story or the study rather. So this was a study funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, and it was spearheaded by researchers between the Rutgers School of Environmental and Biological Sciences and North Carolina State University. And they wanted to look at the potential for cross-contamination on kitchen surfaces. Big thing, right? Salmonella, that's why you got to cook your chicken a certain way, handle it a certain way. So during the study, they looked at more than 370 adults that they asked to cook identical turkey burger recipes. And the kitchens were various sizes from small apartments to teaching kitchens. And the recipe included raw ground turkey patties with seasoning, a seasoning recipe, and a prepackaged salad. And so before the meals were prepared, they made a special little virus that only grows in bacteria, and that way they were able to tag and follow, kind of the what was going on as far as how much bacteria was growing. So once the meals were completed, they swapped the utensils, the cleaning surfaces, and other kitchen services to find this tracer. So somebody put in, she thinks it's the can opener. So that's a good guess. That's a really good guess. But no, it wasn't the can opener. So they went on to include new categories like spice containers and faucet handles. So what do you think the surprising culprit was?
I like what Tina said, the seasoning bottle.
The seasoning bottle, the seasoning.
Yes,
The
I always think
spice.
about that because I'm touching stuff and then I grab that. And how many times you cooking, you're grabbing enough seasonings out of the cabinet, and we never wipe down.
Never
I
wipe
guess
that
now I'm
stuff
gonna have to.
down. Most research on the cross contamination, because it's handling of raw meat, has been focused on the cutting boards, and they've neglected these other surfaces like trash bin lids and other utensils. But nearly half of the samples taken of the spice containers showed evidence of contamination, and then coming in second and third were the cutting boards and the trash lids. And faucet handles were the least contaminated, which I thought was interesting. So maybe people are turning the faucet on with the back of their hand. So maybe that's why it's not getting contaminated.
Well, you think about touching the faucet so many times, and you think about when you touch the faucet, a lot of times you're washing your hands, so you don't want to contaminate it. Because when you turn it off, if you turn it on,
Right. That's what I'm saying. They must be doing it with the back of their hand to make sure not exactly. So all right, maybe the seeds coming in, but the seasoning. So look, you all designate a clean hand and dirty hand. Okay, do one hand with your seasoning, the other hand will be the with the raw meat, or measure out your seasonings. But that's hard, right? Because for those of us who cook, and I heard somebody say this, and I love it. We don't measure stuff out. We do it until the ancestors tell us to stop, right?
Yeah. I'm based on that.
Right? To tell you how much seasoning to put in, right? So, but you might want to try to think about maybe starting to measure stuff out, or have a designated hand that'll do the dirty work, so to speak, and then be sure to wash your hands. So, isn't that crazy?
I'm more apt to get the Clorox wipe and wipe down the bottles because the ancestors got to talk to me. But I'm cooking. They got to talk. I can't measure that. No, I can't measure.
Especially this time of year when we're going to be getting together and enjoying grandma's this and aunt so and so's that and everything, right? So the ancestors will definitely be called upon in the next few weeks. So, but I just wanted to share that because I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I would have thought of that. So, all right. So Sonia is joining us. Thank you so much. So we are just getting started. If you're just joining us, this is Veganish with Dr. Monique. And today we are talking about, now that we've gotten the nutrition in the news out of the way, we are talking about some foods that you might want to avoid, or at least think about some healthier options this holiday season, right? Because what happens every year at this time, right? It's kind of like you look forward to getting together, you look forward to the food, but then you have a little bit of that remorse, right? That guilt. You're like, oh, why did I do that? So this year, we got to switch it up, do it a little bit differently, and be proactive, right? Instead of reactive.
Yes.
So the name of the show is Veganish. So don't at me, as my girlfriend says. Don't at me, because some of the items on this list are not plant-based. But I believe in meeting people where they are, okay?
Right.
So we're going to be talking about some things that are not plant-based, but at least help you to at least get somewhat healthier, okay? Of course, I would love that all your meals were plant-based, but I'm a realist, so we're going to talk about what people are likely going to be having, but how can we make it better? So we're going to start with the star of the show, the turkey, the turkey bird, right? Not the dirty bird, but the turkey bird. So, and I found this article. These are not my numbers. This is from, I've got to get my source here. It's from Nutrition and Unity Point Health. This is a health center that I got this information from. But so dark turkey, the dark meat. which is what?
The delicious meat.
Delicious meat. Right. I'm here to destroy all of your dietary dreams. You know that. That's what I do. That's my brain. So the dark turkey meat with the skin. So of course it's a great source of protein. We know that. But dark meat, well, let me in the chat, y'all tell me what makes the dark meat so good? What does it contain that makes it so good? And don't say tryptophan because it's not the tryptophan. But what
deliciousness.
Deliciousness. But what is it that usually adds flavor to stuff? It's either
I think it's moist, right? And fat, right?
There you go.
Fat adds some moisture.
Yes. Fat equals flavor, right? We know that. Fat equals flavor. So dark meat, especially with the skin, contains twice as much as other fat content. So here's some nutritional facts for you. 4 ounces, which we've talked about before, 4 ounces is about the size of your palm of your hand or a deck of cards, has up to 300 calories. And we know we eat more than just that little deck of cards, right? So 300 calories, 16 grams of fat, and 125 milligrams of cholesterol. Mind you, your total cholesterol for the day should be about 300 maybe. And your and then the fat, it depends, but we recommend that you have no more than about 30% or so of your calories from fat. Guilt-free swap though. So we're gonna give you a solution. Now we gave you the problem. So the solution is the white meat, right? White meat has less fat.
Okay.
Not a whole lot, but less. And the way that you actually save yourself is how you prepare it.
Yes.
That's the take-home point here. So roasting, cutting out the butter, the dressing is going to be the best way to prepare your turkey. Avoid the skin, that excess gravy that we're going to talk about in a second. But if you want it, minimize that, roast it, and cut back on some of the ways that we prepare the butter and the other stuff that gets added to it.
So if you're going to roast it, so the best way to get flavor in that white meat, right? So I learned this technique a few years ago, and I do not cook a turkey without brining it. You have to brine your turkey. And brining, for those that don't know, it's just you soak it in a salt solution, I know, and other seasonings, but you brine that turkey, it infuses that moisture, that salt moisture gets into the white meat, and it's gonna have flavor. If you want flavor.
For those of you who watch this show regularly, I just had an idea. When you're watching a show and there's the angel on one side and the devil on the other side, that's what Ellis and I are.
I'm definitely the devil.
What I thought you were going to say was to keep it from drying out is cook it with the breast down.
Oh yeah, well you cover the breast. You take
you cover it. But then you also put the breast side down.
Put the breast side down is one way, but what I learned from Food Network is you cook it for 30 minutes at high temperature, like 450, 500 degrees. The first is and then with the breast covered with aluminum foil. Then you after that 30 minutes, you lower it to your normal temperature, and then you cover it and cook it and roast it the rest of the time. That'll also keep it very, very moist so it doesn't dry out, because I know people always talk about the white meat is always dry. But that method without the brining, because I know brining it infuses salt into the meat. But if you don't want to brine it, you cook it that way, high temperature for about 30 minutes, and then with the breast covered, and then pull it off.
We got more food to get through on this list.
Yeah.
But if the brining, I have to say, I can't even, because and the concern is with the salt, excess salt. Because remember, think about it. We're only at the turkey. By the time you add up all the other stuff and all the other salt content that comes with that, that's the concern. Next is canned gravy. So first of all, grown folks shouldn't be eating canned gravy. I'm just gonna say that.
Not black folks either.
I'm just gonna say that. But some of us, that's okay if gravy is not your ministry, because it can be a little challenging. But canned gravy equates to sodium, and more sodium, like we just said. The white flour, the cornstarch, those are carbs that are used to thicken it. And that can add sugar, because starches break down to sugar. 1 can of chicken gravy is 236 calories, 17 grams of fat, 1,274 milligrams of sodium, and 16 grams of carbs. Now that's the whole can, okay? So of course you're not chug-a-lugging a can of gravy, but just think about every time you are pouring on some of that gravy, that's what you're getting, some of that. Yeah. So The solution. You can swap this out pretty easily. Instead of using a can, you can make your own with a mushroom base, add some herbs, vegetable stock, things like that, and cook your own gravy. If you're going to be using the turkey as your star, your show, you can, of course, use parts of the turkey to make your gravy and so forth. But that way you can control how much salt and fat and carbs go into that gravy. The next
one. I know that turkey neck go in that gravy. Y'all know that you got to drop that turkey neck. You don't throw that turkey neck away. You drop it right in that gravy. Okay, get that flavor. Smoked turkey neck is a bust up.
Next is the dressing. Now, first of all, first and foremost, I have to say, I hope none of you, I know you all are not, because our viewers are smart, they're savvy. So I know y'all are not doing this. But if there is someone who is, please stop cooking that dressing inside of that turkey. Don't do that. You are asking for a foodborne illness that will ruin your Thanksgiving and your Black Friday and probably the rest of the weekend. So make sure you are preparing your dressing in a separate pan. I'm just going to say that. But the dressing itself tends to be high in carbs, fat, because what is it? It's cornbread, right? It's bread, the base of dressing. And, and dressing is, my mother makes the best dressing, y'all. I mean, she just, it's a struggle. I struggle with it. So I'm not talking at y'all. Like this is, I'm listening to this too.
This is group therapy right now. This is group therapy.
This is a safe space. This is a safe space. But the dressing is high in carbs, fat, calories, and like we said, it gets the foodborne illness if you cook it in turkey, but we're not going to claim that. Nutritional facts on this: half a cup of stuffing or dressing can be about 180 calories, 22 carbs, and 550 milligrams of sodium. So I don't expect you all to not have any dressing on your table. Like I said, I'm a realist, but you can try cutting back on the bread, maybe using like a rice or like a quinoa or something like that, a whole grain. Use more whole grains and add more chopped vegetables to still give you that mouthfeel, that you put your gravy on that, but it's better for you than the traditional way. What do y'all think about this so far? Y'all are quiet.
Look, they hurt right now. We hurt.
I think they're like, every week this woman why does she do it? We just
told people to avoid half their plate. Okay.
Well, we want y'all to be here for Thanksgiving to come. We want y'all to be here for Thanksgiving to come. And so it's just a small step. Even if you just do one of these, it will pay off. Now, cranberry sauce.
Yeah, cranberry.
Said not quinoa. Oh, do you not like quinoa? Tina said not quinoa. But whatever your grain of choice is, it doesn't have to be quinoa. Canned cranberry sauce. Now, I do make my own. But if you've ever read the back of a can of cranberry, well, it says sauce, but it's actually, I like the jelly. We get the jelly. Yeah. When you take it out the can, it's got the lines on it.
Yeah.
That was the best. But it's often contains high fructose corn syrup, which we know plays a role in diabetes and chronic inflammation and all kinds of bad stuff. It can cause your insulin levels to spike, which in turn makes your fat storage go up, right? So a quarter cup contains 140 calories, 27 grams of carbs, and over 26 grams of sugar. So instead, the recommendation is fresh cranberries, which are full of vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin C, which are good for your immune system, your skin, your clotting factors. And they're also, of course, a good source of fiber. So you can make your own variety, a salsa, a jelly, however you want, a compote, you cook them down. Lots of different ways you can make and control the sugar in your cranberry jelly. Why are you laughing, Ellis?
I was laughing at the person like quinoa. You got to give it more. You got to give it more of a shot. I wasn't a quinoa fan either, and it's growing on me. So I'm
Well, now let's talk about that, Tina. Like, if you don't mind sharing what your struggle is with quinoa, because let me tell you, quinoa is it's actually a complete protein. It has all of the essential amino acids that we can't make. So tell me. I wonder. I bet you, if is it the texture? I wonder if it's a texture issue because that's what I have a lot of
yeah,
texture issues.
it was a texture thing, but I always like get it with like some wild rice where it's mixed together.
Oh, she likes it, but not as dressing. I got you. I got you. But yeah, it's we're making suggestions, recommendations, not commands. So, but yeah, so Alice, you were saying the texture.
Yeah, it was a texture for me, but so I always like get it in the blends where it's blended with mixed in with like some wild rice, to because that gives it makes it more palatable because I know how good it is for you. So like sometimes you have to find clever ways, natural, healthier ways to get those healthy foods into your body, even if you don't like them per se. I just can't sit and eat a bowl of quinoa, but if it's in like a bowl with other mixed grains and things like that, I can eat it that way. But
Oh,
find a
well,
way; it's good for you.
it
Find a way.
is. It is. And actually, I make it as a breakfast. A cocoa, chocolate quinoa with some cocoa in it. It's actually delicious. And one thing I know I have found too with textures, just before we leave this point, is if you're not cooking it long enough, that might be the issue. I used to hate brown rice because I didn't like the way it felt, and I realized I wasn't cooking it long enough. So it may
Yes.
be something simple as that. So the next big one, candied yams.
See, all right, I'm done. See,
Can we just have a moment of silence for the
you
candied
playing with
yams?
my plate right now. You
I
playing with
know,
my plate
I
right
know.
now.
I'm messing with all your emotions. But we come on. We already know candy yams. Literally the name is candied. It's in the name. So is this really a surprise?
But yams are good for yams. What the man say? Yams from the motherland. Yams
They are. But I don't think they eat them like this in the motherland. In fact, I'm pretty sure. And there's a whole thing about yams and sweet potatoes, and they're not the same. But anyway, well,
Yeah,
that's a talk for another day.
yeah.
But with most recipes calling for up to 8 cups of sugar. Now, my mother doesn't put that much in hers. Now, that's ridiculous. 8 cups of sugar. That's diabetes on a platter.
My people from South Carolina. If it ain't 8 cup, it's close.
Oh my, are you serious?
Oh yeah, we go in. If we make the syrup with the cinnamon and the nutmeg, and then you put the marshmallows on the top. Oh, it gets really it's a oh yeah. You need an insulin shot after you eat that.
My pancreas hurts for y'all. Okay, my pancreas just quivered inside. But 1 cup of candied yams can add more than 400 calories to your plate. And raise your hand if you go back for seconds. I that's one of the first things I go back for seconds for. So the guilt-free swap, of course, keep the sweet potatoes.
Right.
Potatoes are great. You talked about the cinnamon, the nutmeg, play with your spices more. And then for that glaze, because a lot of the glaze, of course, is like the sugar that's melted down, the butter.
Mm-hmm.
I would do like a skim milk or a low fat or plant-based milk, something that's going to give you the glaziness part, but not something, a little bit of agave. Maybe remember we said agave is not the best thing, but in small cases or for special occasions, agave might be a good substitute. Honey might be a good substitute, again, not plant-based, but just other ways to think of giving you that ooey gooey that you associate with your yams, with your sweet potatoes. The next one we're going to talk about, and this one's not hard for me because I don't eat it, but green bean casserole.
Yeah. We used to eat it when I was younger, and then we stopped. It's not as much of a thing for Thanksgiving. It's more like it used to be like part of Sunday dinner. But green bean casserole, yeah, it's got green beans in it. That's about the only.
Exactly. It's got green beans. By the time you add on if you're doing canned, of course, that's going to be probably high in sodium, the condensed cream of mushroom, which is high in sodium and fat, and then those fried onions, which I just don't get green bean casserole. It wasn't a thing in my house. All of that is no-go. So 3/4 cups of this dish is 148 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 431 milligrams of sodium. The recommended amount of sodium per day is 2,000 milligrams. So this is about a fifth. This is about 20% of your recommended in this one dish. So healthier option, of course, keep the green beans, season it instead with some garlic, some a garlic vinaigrette, sauteed mushrooms, whatever. Just swap out all that other stuff that you're putting on there. And then holiday season coming up, eggnog, of course, big one. I love eggnog, but eggnog is really just liquid death. It really is. It has no redeeming qualities.
I heard mashed potatoes. So there's a couple other things I had on my list. Okay. Mac and cheese, and we did a vegan mac and cheese last year. We did the cooking demonstration. It's on there. It's on the playlist on YouTube. If you want to go back and watch it. But mac and cheese, y'all know, boy, all that cheese, all the salt, the butter, all that comes in there. Woo.
And there's actually, since last year, there's actually an even healthier way, because I did make that with a processed vegan cheese. So if you really want to get away from that altogether, you can make a cashew cheese, make a cheese with cashew and some nutritional yeast and things like that, and get rid of all the process as well. And it really can be, it's got a nutritional yeast adds a nice nutty and cheesy flavor to things. So if you're really trying to go plant-based and avoid the process, that's another option. Yeah. What else did you have on your list?
So yeah, cornbread just in general. I mean, we talked about dressing, but cornbread, we like to put a little, and y'all know y'all like that Jiffy, and that Jiffy cornbread is so sweet. It is delicious, but I'm sorry, it's not good for you because it's got so much sugar.
Ellis, when I do this, that's gonna be my symbol. That's my signal.
So that cornbread, you gotta lay off that cornbread, and we would use it to make the dressing. So we were getting a double. Yeah, you gotta make it. Okay. Yeah, so mac and cheese, the cranberry sauce, you touched on that. We talked about candied yams, sweet potato casserole. That's just that, whether it's candied yams, sweet potato casserole. I put flat. It's pretty much the same thing. And I always think about that LL lyric, sweet as brown sugar with the candied yams. Y'all know, ride the way, girl. Y'all know. Yes. So
yeah,
we talk about how sweet you are in a song. And he's using candied yams as a reference. Right. That's sweet.
And then again, if y'all put marshmallows on there, marshmallows are not plant-based. They have gelatin in them. So so that's, if you're just, we talked about that a long time ago about marshmallows not being vegan.
Marshmallow right over the top. It's just, and then we use a lot of butter in there. So we're talking about the sugar, but there's a lot of butter. So, there's fat, that's cholesterol in those butters. So you got to be careful. We touched on gravy. And I talked about mashed potatoes. Like mashed potatoes in and of itself, the potato itself is fine. It's what we do to mash them and all the creams and the sugar and the salts and stuff like that we put in there and butter. That's what, and then the gravy we slather over the top of it. That's what we could really make mashed potatoes bad.
But if I may, because we already got potatoes, right? We got sweet potatoes. So again, those of us who are trying to be carb conscious, instead of mashed potatoes, cauliflower. Make a mashed cauliflower. Cauliflower is a wonderful substitute for mashed potatoes. Actually, I'm working on a recipe. When I get home, I'm going to work on my own gravy mashed cauliflower, because it can take on the consistency of potatoes and really has very minimal carbs and all the fiber and all that you want. So yeah,
I sort of like the cauliflower rice. I started getting stir fry. Start cooking it with cauliflower rice instead of the traditional rice with stir fry, and it's different, but it has a similar consistency and it's better for you.
Exactly. So. And then just
better. I'm not always here.
I know. Just
Thanksgiving though.
Sometimes we're on the same side. Sometimes we're in the same show. So Lorraine said cauliflower makes her. Yes, it can do that. So I recommend any vegetable really can do that, but cauliflower can. But start low, go slow, kind of think if it's new to you, and then take it in small increments. And the other thing
is like broccoli and cauliflower, flour and vegetables.
Those cruciferous vegetables can do that. And the other thing, holiday season in general, alcohol, right? It's kind of tends to be the kind of year people drink more. So remember, alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram. So it's almost as much as fat. Yep. So those drinks add up. So drink more water, the tonic, the seltzer, the fizzy drinks, things like that you can get. City drinks.
Tina, I love it.
A
Tina.
vegan 363 days a year. There you go. And that's the perfect way to close out the show.
That's real.
I mean, and it is. And I mean, for you, that is awesome because that's what it's about. We're not saying you can never eat. We're trying to just get you to make healthier choices long term. So if you want to go and tie one on once or twice a year, I can't blame you for that. I can't fault you. She said, "What's a good tonic?" I was trying to say, like the seltzer water, the fizzy carbonated.
Schweppes makes a good tonic.
Yeah,
There's some
the store brands. I don't know.
There's some that comes in like the rain, come back next week and I'll have a brand of tonic for you. I have it because I have them downstairs. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But also, if you can stomach it right, you can take what I do now in terms of trying to cut back calories and all that stuff is I'll take a little bit of vodka, which has a lower calorie content, and then fresh lime juice, and then that's it over ice. And then I eliminate all those sugars. If I'm going to drink an adult beverage, I try to just drink it straight with a little lime juice, and because it makes me drink it slower because it's straight. The lime juice cuts up, it helps the flavor, but you're not getting all the extra stuff with the sugars from like cranberry and juice and all that other stuff.
And let the ice melt. Let the ice melt, dilute it a little bit too, right? Because that'll help too. So
that's your white liquors, your dark liquor, your bourbons and stuff like that. That has more sugar content in it, so you have to be careful with that. Yeah, just a little bit.
See, y'all, look, we talked to y'all about how to cook a turkey. We closed the show. I mean, you get it all on this show. I love it. But that's our time. This is the fastest 30 minutes of my day. I tell y'all that every time because it is true. It is true. Come back next week. We'll have something for you. I don't know. But this weekend, guys, it's fall back. So enjoy your extra hour. I'm in Arizona. They don't do that here. Oh, wow. Okay. What we're laughing at is Karen said the last time we just had a little vodka, we almost had to taser her. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a story. I got to hear the rest of that story.
That does sound interesting.
That's a story.
And then Lorraine said tequila with lime and let the lime. See, y'all gonna get me in trouble.
You can do tequila the same way. You can do tequila the same way. You're in Arizona right now. That's like a hub for tequila. Y'all got to
Arizona.
All the cactus. Yeah.
Oh, well, agave.
They don't make tequila there. It's mainly in Oaxaca.
Exactly.
Mexico, but yeah.
But this is our time, guys. Thank you so much. I know I've enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. When this airs or replays, put your comments in about what kind of healthy substitutes you all are going to be making. I'd love to see what you're going to be doing. Tag me on social media at Physician in the Kitchen. I've got some healthy holiday recipes in my book, docfixmyplatebook.com. I got the mac and cheese in there, and I've got some low calorie sauces and drizzles and things like that. So check it out. docfixmyplatebook.com. That's all I've got for today. Mr. Ellis, you want to take us out?
Y'all just pray over your plate. I mean, that prayer Thanksgiving is going to be real. Of all these substitutes, and you got to cut all that stuff off your plate. How about this? Get the dessert plate and make that your Thanksgiving plate. So that way you cut your portion size down.
But don't go back and refill it 5 times, though, because then you've defeated the purpose.
Eat a salad first.
Drink plenty of water. Drink lots of water. But we're going to be back before Thanksgiving. We'll have more tips for you. But all right, guys, take care.
See y'all next time.